Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all that noise and really distill what matters for you. Today, we're getting into something I find fascinating. It's this blend of like human psychology and actual business strategy. We're
Mhm.
looking at how flow state is shaking things up in property-related industries.
Yeah, it's a really powerful concept. And when we say flow state here, we're talking about that deep psychological thing, complete absorption in what you're doing.
Right, that feeling where time just kind of melts away and you're performing at your peak almost effortlessly.
Exactly. So for creators in real estate, insurance, interior design, even maintenance services,
Mhm.
it's about structuring your work, your content, client chat, so it all feels intuitive, aligned.
So breakthroughs don't feel like work, more like just hitting your stride, being in the zone.
Precisely. And the key thing from our sources, this isn't just about you being more efficient personally. It's bigger.
Okay.
When your process feels effortless, it creates this kind of contagion of calm. It's subtle.
Contagion of calm. I like that.
Clients pick up on it subconsciously.
Yeah.
They start to trust that your results will be just as smooth, just as reliable,
Ah, so it shifts that typical transactional anxiety.
right into magnetic attraction. Your ease literally becomes their confidence.
That's a really crucial distinction, isn't it? So this magnetic marketing, attracting clients, what's at the core? Our sources mention something called the trio.
Yeah, the trio, it's rhythm, clarity, and intentional creation. Those are the pillars.
Okay, let's break those down. Rhythm. It's more than just posting regularly, I assume.
Oh, much more. It's about energetic alignment, meaning you're not just there, but you're there when and where your audience is actually receptive. You know?
Makes sense. Got an example?
Sure. The data suggests things like uh, weekend morning reels for home decor stuff. People are relaxed, browsing,
Right?
whereas maybe midweek updates on threads about market shifts that hits a different need, more focused, people wanting info.
So it's not about blasting everywhere. It's about being in their flow.
Exactly. Being in their flow.
Okay, second one, clarity. This feels like a superpower, especially in fields full of jargon. Real estate, insurance.
Oh, absolutely. Clarity isn't just avoiding tech speak, it's a direct signal of trust.
How so?
Well, being unclear, even if you don't mean to be, can come across as lacking confidence. Or worse, like you're hiding something.
Yeah, I can see that.
Our sources show the clearer you are explaining a tricky repair timeline or making policy language make sense, you basically dismantle client skepticism before it even starts. Build a really solid brand identity.
Got it. And the third one, intentional creation.
Yes. And this is what elevates simple content into, well, an unforgettable experience.
Okay.
When every single piece, every post, caption, design has a distinct, deeper purpose. Maybe it's emotional connection or genuine education or nudging a specific action. You move from just broadcasting to actually bonding.
So instead of just listing features on a property.
Right. You might tell its a unique story
Mhm.
or show the transformation maybe before and after or highlight how it fits into the community, something more meaningful.
Okay, so pulling it all together, this trio, rhythm, clarity, intentional creation, this is how you build that deep trust, improve retention.
Exactly. And attract clients who stick around, who become advocates, not just, one-off customers.
So we're going to dig into how creators are actually using this, moving past simple deals to crafting these really compelling transformations.
Yeah. Let's get into the application.
Okay, so we have the foundation, rhythm, clarity, intentional creation. How are creators actually applying this flow state idea in these industries? You mentioned a pivot away from just quotes and closings.
Yes, a really powerful pivot. They're focusing on crafting compelling transformations through storytelling.
Storytelling, why is that so critical here?
Because facts inform, sure, but stories inspire.
Yeah.
And maybe more importantly, they make abstract things feel tangible, real.
Especially in high-stakes fields like buying a home or getting insurance. Lots of complexity, lots of uncertainty for the client.
Precisely. So when an insurance provider explains coverage using real-life examples, little anecdotes, they're not just listing facts, they're making the policy relatable. They're building trust by lowering the mental effort needed to understand it.
Reducing cognitive load, yeah.
Or think about a maintenance service showing a cluttered to curated journey on Instagram Reels. That's not just an ad. It activates trust, curiosity, credibility, all through a story people can connect with.
It's leveraging that emotion-driven logic,
Yeah.
showing why it matters, how it actually improves someone's life.
You got it.
So that shift from selling to storytelling, it's actually deeply strategic. It's about understanding that people don't just want a product or service.
They want confidence, clarity, real connection.
And creators are using all these platforms, right?
Right.
Instagram for renovations, Pinterest for design ideas, Threads for those quick market updates, turning everyday services into memorable human experiences.
Mm-hmm. The creator mindset really gets that in today's world. With
Yeah.
just so much information flying around, connection has to come before conversion.
Loyalty before leads, community before customer.
Exactly. Whether you're helping someone insure their first place or design a baby's room, storytelling is what sets you apart. It hits that emotional core.
Okay, so storytelling builds connection. We get that. But businesses need results, right? Something measurable. How are creators rethinking ROI, return on investment, beyond just the financial side?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the sources point to this idea of reimagining ROI. It's not just about the money. There are three powerful forms.
Okay, what's the first?
Emotional ROI. Think about it. Repeat business doesn't start with the second sale. It starts way back with the trust and the positive feeling you create the first time.
Ah, so showing the joy of handing over keys or that satisfaction of a perfectly finished room.
Exactly. You're planting seeds for loyalty down the road. It means humanizing what you do, using relatable stories, celebrating client wins. People forget facts, but they remember how you made them feel. That's emotional ROI.
Makes sense. What's next?
Visual ROI. In this creator economy, how things look isn't just fluff. It's a powerful pull,
Like a magnet, you mean?
pretty much. A beautifully presented property gets more clicks, more views. A slick before and after post for a maintenance job gets shared more. Your visuals grab attention in a super crowded online space.
So you need to invest in that. Good photos, consistent branding.
Absolutely. Warm, consistent visuals, highlighting transformations visually. Reels, carousels, whatever works. Our sources even suggested a single, well-made video of a repaired space can sometimes do more heavy lifting than 10 written testimonials.
Wow, okay. Emotional, visual, what's the third?
Digital ROI. Basically, your online visibility. It's not a nice-to-have anymore. It's essential leverage.
But does that mean you have to be #1 on Google?
Not necessarily. It means being searchable, being consistently engaging, being present where your audience actually hangs out online.
So things like using the right keywords and captions, hashtags.
Yep, optimizing captions, using alt text, hashtags like hashtag real estate repair or hashtag dream home flow, and being smart about repurposing content across different platforms to get the most eyes on it.
So consistency and clarity don't just build trust.
They directly lead to visibility, and visibility leads straight to opportunity.
Okay, so for anyone listening thinking about their own content, ask yourself those 3 questions.
Right. Did this create an emotional impact? Was it visually compelling and on brand? And is it optimized so people can find it online?
If you can say yes to all 3,
You're already building ROI that goes way beyond just one transaction.
we've covered connection, measuring impact, but let's talk about the big one for many traditional industries, risk. It seems counterintuitive, but our sources suggest something, well, strategic about taking creative risks here.
That's right. In fields like real estate, insurance, design, the default is often play it safe. Stick with what's always worked.
Standard operating procedure.
Exactly. But the argument here is powerful. For creators, taking smart creative risks isn't reckless. It's actually a strategic way to get ahead of the competition.
How so? Give me examples.
Okay, maybe trying short-form storytelling on a platform that feels new or untested for your niche, or targeting a surprisingly specific audience group, or even just being really authentic and showing your workflow behind the scenes.
Things that might feel a bit uncomfortable compared to the usual.
Precisely. These choices can really make you stand out from competitors who are just stuck in that business-as-usual rut.
Like a real estate advisor using Threads for micro tips on the emotional side of buying a home.
Perfect example. Or a renovation team documenting the messy parts, the whole process, in raw reels. These aren't just random gambles. They're deliberate choices in how you build your brand.
Okay. Our sources even had a kind of risk checklist, right?
Yeah.
To help innovate without going too far off the deep end.
Yeah, some practical ideas, like extreme niche targeting, say, marketing only to first-time homebuyers. That builds incredible relevance, not just broad reach.
Right, deep, not wide.
Or using super short-form video, like 30-second tips, which can boost visibility really quickly. Personal storytelling, showing your real process, the flow behind the scenes.
Even unconventional design choices for your own brand visuals, just to be memorable.
That too. The key idea is if it feels aligned with where you want to go, but it also feels a little bit unfamiliar, that might be exactly the right kind of risk to explore.
Interesting. So who's actually doing this well? Who are the creators really redefining things by taking these kinds of risks?
Well, the sources pointed to a few. People like at Angela Rosehome, she's a DIY renovation person, shares really raw, tool-in-hand transformations, feels super
Yeah,
authentic.
I've seen her stuff. Yeah.
Or at Bobby Jaberk from Career fame,
Right.
right? He blends design, renovation, and then emotional storytelling masterfully, connects deeply.
Okay.
Then there's at the Rambling Redhead, who mixes lifestyle content with property stories really artfully. And you can't forget at Cheap Old Houses, that account went viral just by romanticizing restoration and telling stories about old homes.
Proving that even super niche content can grab millions if it connects.
Absolutely. They didn't wait for permission from the industry. They just built trust by showing up with clarity, intention, and, yeah, a willingness to be different.
So the question for you listening is, what's your calculated risk? Maybe pick one idea from that checklist thinking.
How can I turn that into a regular creative habit, like a weekly ritual?
Yeah, and what support would I need? What's the potential long-term payoff if I actually stick with it?
Because in this creator world, risk isn't the enemy of your reputation.
It's the spark for reinvention.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk about something really powerful for building that community and loyalty we mentioned. What our sources call karma, or maybe a give to grow way of thinking.
Yes, this is about a fundamental shift in mindset. It's basically stop selling, start supporting.
Yeah.
Genuinely supporting.
So whether you're helping someone pick out decor or guiding them through a complicated insurance claim, your main job is to deliver real value before you ask for anything.
Exactly. Before you ask for their attention, before you ask for a sale, that service-first energy leaves an emotional imprint that, frankly, traditional ads just can't touch.
And creators who build their brands around that kindness, being super transparent, consistently contributing.
They don't just get followers. They cultivate passionate advocates,
Yeah.
people who champion them.
And authenticity is key here, right? It's not always the most polished content that works best.
Definitely not. It's consistently the most real. Think about those compelling before and after renovation shows. They build instant credibility because you see the transformation.
Or homeowner stories that really resonate because they mirror struggles or joys people recognize.
Many educational series can position you as this invaluable guide. Featuring local community stuff builds incredible goodwill.
The core tip seems to be, let your clients be the heroes. The renovation isn't just a job you did.
It's a journey you guided them through. It reframes everything.
Connecting this back to the bigger picture, that lasting loyalty is built through being ethical, transparent in your storytelling.
Absolutely. When you consistently choose to tell the truth, respect people's privacy, celebrate their wins without being manipulative, your brand becomes unforgettable, but for all the right reasons.
So, being upfront about pricing, highlighting small wins for clients, respecting boundaries.
Crucial. Clients who feel genuinely seen, heard, and helped. They don't just come back. They refer people. They share your stuff. They basically become extensions of your brand authentically.
So the challenge then is, how will you serve this week? Maybe list 3 tangible ways you can create from generosity.
Could be simple. A quick tutorial solving a common issue. A sincere shout out to a local partner you like. Or even just a kind follow-up message to a past client. Just checking in, no strings attached.
When you give because it feels right, not because you have to.
That's when the organic growth starts feeling effortless. Truly.
Okay, finally, we land on a concept that often gets overlooked, especially when things feel so fast-paced, but it's absolutely vital for long-term success. Patience, playing the long game for those really big wins.
Yeah, it's so true. In real estate and all the related fields, success isn't just measured by how quickly you can generate a lead.
It's more about how steadily and authentically you nurture those leads over time.
Right. And it's so easy to fall into that post and ghost trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've all seen it, maybe done it ourselves. Put out great content once, then vanish for a bit, and wonder why leads aren't converting.
Yeah, the consistency drops off.
But our sources really stress that lead generation, especially for high-value things like property services, often needs weeks, sometimes months, of just subtle, consistent exposure.
Like someone might see your threads post on repairs first.
Then maybe weeks later, notice your Pinterest board on interiors.
Yeah.
And then months after that, they finally circle back to hire you for a big renovation.
Patience lets that whole journey happen without you burning out or sounding desperate.
Exactly. And referrals especially, they take longer to grow, but they're gold. They come from that consistent presence, deep trust, real value, not from pressure tactics or gimmicks.
So creative patience. It means repeating things, but not being boring about it.
Yeah, repeating your core message across different platforms, reusing strong visuals and language with that intentional rhythm we talked about, and just accepting that someone might need to see your brand, 3, 5, 7 times before they even really remember you, let alone act.
So instead of chasing viral hits that might disappear tomorrow,
Successful creators playing the long game, build reliable rhythm, they build memory, they become familiar, like a trusted friend you keep running into.
okay, so what helps maintain that consistent, patient approach? The sources mention flow rituals.
Yes. These are basically structured habits that make your creative process smoother, less friction.
Like batching content, doing it all in focused chunks.
Exactly. Batching creation weekly or biweekly. Maybe journaling your intention before you start a batch. What's the purpose, the emotion behind each post?
Conducting reviews, maybe monthly or quarterly, to see what's actually working.
Tracking what resonates, refining ideas.
Yeah.
And yeah, strategically using AI tools when you feel stuck, not to replace you, but just to spark ideas or grease the wheels a bit.
So these rituals aren't meant to be rigid chains.
No, they're rhythm tools. They keep your brand alive, consistent, and present over the long haul.
So we've really covered a lot today. We've taken this deep dive into how flow state is more than just a feeling. It's a potent strategic method for creators in property-focused fields.
Yeah, we look at that big shift from just transactions to telling transformative stories.
Yeah.
Redefining ROI to include emotional, visual, and digital impact.
We talked about embracing smart strategic risks, operating with that give-to-grow, karma-driven approach.
And understanding the crucial power of patience, playing the long game for those really meaningful, lasting wins. It's all interconnected.
I think the core insight, the real takeaway here, is that this whole approach boils down to building genuine connection first, building loyalty, building community before you get laser focused on just conversions or leads.
Absolutely. Our goal with this was really to give you a shortcut, a way to get well informed on how digital careers are finding real success in industries that have often been pretty traditional, pretty risk-averse.
So, as you move forward from this conversation, we want to leave you with a final thought to chew on, something provocative from our sources.
It's this. If someone discovers your brand 3 months from now, scrolling back through your feed or finding your profile,
Will they feel like you've been consistently present? Will they sense that you've been creating with genuine care, with real intention?
think about letting your content aim to be timeless, not just timely, something to mull over,